Hey, hello everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you're all doing amazing. I'm Alexandra and I am a brand and visibility strategist, and I work with entrepreneurs, YouTubers, creators who want to grow their visibility and monetize their brand. And I was, like many of us, saw this devastating news about Matthew Perry passing away. And of course, the first thing everyone thinks of is that it's the Friends star, the Chandler Bing, who died. And I typically don't cover this type of personal news from celebrities. I try to cover things that are more business relevant, like if they're writing a book or anything like that. Which, by the way, Matthew Perry actually wrote a memoir last year. It came out in 2022. But what caught my attention was I was speaking to a friend and we were talking about Matthew Perry dying. And I said, I would love to cover the story and talk more about his life, but it's not really the type of thing I would talk about. And she said that, well, that he said that he wanted to be remembered for helping addicts, not for his role on Friends. And I was like, what? And so I said, okay, well, that's what we're going to talk about. Because, first of all, let's just take a moment to send prayers for Matthew Perry's family, loved ones, everyone who personally knew him, who loved him, and my sincerest condolences to him, his family. May he rest in peace. Many of us know that he had been an addict for many years. And so I didn't really know the full story of it until I started doing a little tiny bit of research, which we're going to share here today now. But I really wanted to share this because I think it's a great reminder for all of us. When we talk about, in my business, I do help people grow their visibility, right? So that they can be seen, so that they can be heard, so that they can share their message and make a bigger impact. And typically, whatever makes you most famous, whatever gets you in front of the most people is what you become known for. And Matthew Perry was obviously most known for his role on Friends. But and there's certainly a lot of value in entertaining people, in bringing joy in people's lives. That's very valuable as well. And also, he wanted to be known for making an impact in helping other addicts, people recover from alcoholism. And so I that's super beautiful and very noble as well. And so I wanted to share this article. It said Matthew Perry, this is from Time. Matthew Perry wanted to be remembered for helping others in recovery from addiction. As fans around the world mourn the death of Matthew Perry, many are remembering the beloved Friends star for the ways which he strove to help people recovering from addiction. 54-year-old Perry was found dead at his LA home on October 28th, prompting an outpouring of love for the actor as well as recognition of his longtime commitment to helping others get sober. Perry himself, who spoke candidly about his own struggles with drug and alcohol addiction in his 2022 memoir, said during an interview last year with podcast host Tom Power that he would prefer to be remembered for helping people rather than for his work on Friends as the iconic Chandler Bing. Now, the interesting thing here is that he wrote his memoir last year and then he died. And it reminds me, when I turned 30 is when I wrote my book, Sculpt Your Life from Sketch to Masterpiece. And I don't know what it was, but I fully remember thinking, if I die, at least I've written my book. At least I have a legacy. And so not only has he been able to share his work as an actor, bringing lots of joy. He shared his message, his story through his book, and he made an impact helping people recover from addiction. So there is something very powerful about leaving your legacy, leaving a message, sharing your story. It says, the best thing about me, bar none, is that if somebody comes to me and says, I can't stop drinking, can you help me? I can say yes and follow up and do it. When I die, I don't want friends to be the first thing that's mentioned. I want that to be the first thing that's mentioned, that he can help people. And I'm going to live the rest of my life proving that. And interestingly, that was just a year ago, I suppose. So he spent the rest of his life trying to prove that. Friends and co-stars of Perry's, including Mira Sorvino, Hank Azaria, who appeared alongside Perry in a recurring role on Friends, have begun paying tribute to his legacy of service to those battling addiction. I want to leave Matthew Perry's own words here as the way we remember him. There will never be another like him. He lit up so many hearts in so many ways. In a video posted on Instagram, Azaria shared how Perry personally helped him get sober. I'm a sober guy for 17 years. I want to say that the night I went into AA, Matthew brought me in. Oh, I'm getting emotional. The whole first year I was sober, we went to meetings together. As a sober person, he was so caring and giving and wise. He totally helped me get sober. I really wish he could have found it in himself to stay with the sober life more consistently. In addition to helping individuals like Azaria, Perry also turned his former Malibu home into a sober living facility called the Perry House, which ran until 2015. I would like to be remembered as somebody who lived well, loved well, was a seeker. And his paramount thing is that he wants to help people. That's what I want. So I was really moved to share this part of his life because, again, most people will remember him as the Friends star. But when it comes down to it, how am I, this is like the questions, right? Like the questions that we begin to ask, like, how am I living my life? How are you living your life? If you sadly, tragically died next year or in a year from now, do you want to be remembered by the way that you've lived your life? Is there something more that you want to do? Is there more a mission or a purpose or a legacy that you feel called to bring to this world to make a bigger impact? And so those are the things I wanted to talk about today. So just kind of going back a little bit, just from like a branding standpoint, personal brand standpoint, I alluded to this a little bit ago, that you're typically most known by what makes you most famous. So, and I'm thinking of, as an example, other than Matthew Perry, I'm thinking of Ronald Reagan. I was born in the 80s, so I know Ronald Reagan as a president of the United States, but he was an actor prior to that. But what made him most recognizable, most well-known in the world is as a president. And so that's how he became known, right? Now we're talking about, let's say, President Trump. President Trump was very well known prior to becoming a president. It would be interesting to know what his I imagine he became more well-known around the world. Maybe some people who didn't watch TV, for example, maybe didn't know, or didn't have internet access, maybe didn't know who President Trump was until he became president. So, in a way, it's like you become best known for what makes you most well-known, right? And so that's the first thing I wanted to say. And the other thing is, again, how are you living your life? Is that what you want to be known as, right? Is that what you are known as now? Is that how you want to be remembered? And if that's not how you want to be remembered, or if there's something else that you want to do with your life, how can you, let's say if you have, maybe 1 year is a little drastic, but in 3 years from now, I'll take the tip from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And he talks about end in mind 3 years from now, and then working your way backwards and creating a legacy, making not just actions, but also who are you? Who are you being? Not just what are you doing, but also who are you being? Are you a kind, loving, caring person, giving person, right? And then is that reflective in the acts that you do within your life? And that's just one example that I think of because that's something that's important for me. And so, yeah, so I think that this is brings up some bigger questions, but I hope that this maybe brought up something in you before I kind of evolved into working on visibility. I have a company that's called Mission Based Branding. And so my mission with that was to help people to live out their mission and purpose in their calling, in their business, and bring it tied into their brand, whatever that may be. Whether the mission itself, whether the work, the vocation itself is your mission, or if you have a higher calling, a higher legacy that you tie into your brand. So, as an example, for me, I help people get more visibility, be seen and heard. And my passion project, it's it's not a nonprofit at the moment, but my passion project is my Empowering Survivors community, which is a community here on YouTube, but also I've spoken at domestic violence centers. I've worked with individuals who are victims, survivors of crime. I've helped them get their power back, really helped support them and advocate for justice. And that is my passion. It's tied to what my bigger mission and purpose is, to help people use their voice, be seen and heard, and really take back their power. And that's also partially something I've had to work through in my own life. So I hope that this served you, and that yeah, I think that going back to Matthew Perry, um, I didn't know this part of his life. I kind of knew that he was an addict, but I really didn't know too much about it. But it just seems like so fitting that he would devote much of his life to helping other people. And so I just want to give him so much gratitude for him, for the work that he did, for helping other people, probably saved a lot of people by empowering and inspiring them to get sober and to live a clean life. And yeah, and so I hope that this inspires you to maybe look at maybe a bigger calling or a bigger purpose or mission for your life, and how else you can step up into the world and make a bigger impact. So with that, I will head over. I have a couple of other things I'm working on tonight, but I just wanted to leave that message for you. If you learned something today, if you enjoyed this message, I'd appreciate if you hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. Please do. We are a community of passionate creators, entrepreneurs, YouTubers who want to make a bigger impact in the world, and we're just working on trying to be more seen and heard, and I want to help you to do that as well. Share your voice with the world. And just if you want to actually make a bigger impact here on YouTube, I'm starting a 5-day challenge starting next week to grow your YouTube channel. 5 steps, easy steps to really to getting more subscribers and getting your YouTube monetized, because we want to make a big impact with our message and also get paid for it. So it's both things. So I hope that you join me if you are a YouTuber or an aspiring YouTuber. And with that, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Remember, it is your time to be boldly seen and heard. All right, everyone, have a good night. Bye.